Texas Tech's offense has not been where it needs to be this season. They're about 50th in KenPom right now in offensive efficiency. They're turning it over at a very high clip, and they're not shooting the ball as efficiently as they want to. But with one simple play that's been the backbone of basketball offenses for decades is the solution to their problems. Today, we're going to talk about the pick and roll and why it's the secret sauce for Texas Tech basketball. Before we get into this film study, if you have not already, subscribe to the Gamblin Gauchos on YouTube. We'll have a lot more content like this coming your way. You can also find us wherever you get podcasts, also on Twitter at Gamblin Gauchos, so be sure that you're following us. But with that, let's get inside the film room. So I feel very confident that I'm not the only person that knows that this is the secret sauce. First play of the game, Daniel Bacho, Pop Isaacs, pick and roll. This play does not amount to anything, but the fact that it's the call shows they know this is how you fix your problems. And the pick and roll is great because it doesn't just affect the two guys directly involved. Look at this play right here. Watch the player right here that's defending Kerwin Walton and what he has to do to defend Robert Jennings rolling to the rim. He has to leave Kerwin Walton wide open to fill the lane. Now, Walton does end up missing this shot, but that is about as good of a look as you can get from this pick and roll action. Here's another example of that pick and roll really stretching the opposing defense and creating open shots. Here you can see Bacho's roll forces a defender to come baseline and defend him, which leaves Jalen Tyson wide open for a way too easy three that he's going to make every time. The great thing about the pick and roll is that you can adjust the action however you want to best fit your personnel. And what really works with the pick and roll is when you have a screen setter that can also shoot the ball. And Daniel Bacho has shown some flashes this season that if he can make these deep shots off of pick and rolls, this play is almost unguardable for opposing defenses when playing Texas Tech. And this is exactly how that shooting threat can hurt you. So Jalen Tyson has the ball on the wing here. Bacho setting the screen. Look at the defender number 11. He's in what we call drop coverage. So he's trying to prevent either Bacho or Tyson from getting to the rim. But what that does is it leaves Bacho wide open. Pumps a couple of passes and then drills the three. That is very, very dangerous. If you watch the Dallas Mavericks, I want you to pay attention to this play. So Bacho sets a screen for Harmon, and Bacho is defended pretty well. But look at where Harmon's defender is now at. He's now on his back, and so Harmon has all the momentum going to the rim, and this play almost always ends with an easy layup or a drawn foul for the offense. Here's another example of that exact action, but this time it's Demarion Williams getting the defender on his back and drawing a foul. The pick and roll is traditionally run with a primary point guard and a big man, usually the 5 that's on the floor. But it doesn't just have to be that. In fact, if you have the personnel to set a screen for a wing that has the ability to put the ball on the floor and go get their own basket, that can be a really useful tool for your offense because the wing defenders are usually not as agile as the guard defenders. And Texas Tech has plenty of candidates to fill that wing type role in the pick and roll, and a great example of that has been Jalen Tyson. Tyson's ability to put the ball on the floor and drive to the basket is really, really rare on this team, and you can see even just a little bit of space created by the pick and roll gets him to the rim, and Bacho is able to follow that shot up with a putback. And what you're ultimately trying to do with the pick and roll is just create open looks, easy looks around the basket that your guys can make. I mean, that's a lob for Daniel Bacho from Pop Isaacs that's right on the money, and that's going to be easy points for Texas Tech anytime they can get that kind of action. Again, here we see Harmon trying to drive to the lane. Isaacs gets the ball, calls for a screen. Bacho doesn't even really set it, just rolls to the basket. Easy dunk. That's points consistently for Texas Tech, and they've done that time and time again this season. And what's really surprised me in this Texas Tech pick and roll offense is the patience that we've seen from the young players. Pop Isaacs is a true freshman playing point guard for a Big 12 team. That is one of the toughest jobs that you can have in the country. But in these situations, he has looked composed, he has looked patient, and he has made consistently good reads. Daniel Bacho not forcing the issue, not drawing a lot of moving screens, just taking his time, setting up the play at the top of the key, and creating open looks for his team. These two guys are playing like veterans in this action, and that can really boost Texas Tech's offensive potential. In this play, with Georgetown reeling, they've come back into this game. Texas Tech needs a bucket. This possession says a lot about this offense. Look at Daniel Bacho. He's just kind of dancing around, man, waiting to see what happens. Isaacs is going to call him over to his left. Bacho kind of sets a rub screen. The defender has to hedge, and Pop Isaacs makes a patient drive to the basket that results in a tough shot and points for Texas Tech. Texas Tech is still finding out who they really are as a team, and that's especially true on the offensive end when you've got a lot of young players that you're relying on to generate production. But what we've seen time and time again this season, and especially in this Georgetown game, is that the pick and roll is going to be the glue that holds this offense together. Texas Tech may not have the personnel to run this crazy wing lineup. They don't have a ton of guys that can put the ball down on the floor, but what they do have is they have primary ball handlers that can make good decisions and get to the basket, and they have guys that can set screens and make the right read to get an open shot near the basket. And if Texas Tech sticks to this formula, good things will happen regardless of how slow the turnovers and the three-point shooting improve. I hope you enjoyed this film study. If you did, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the Gamblin Gauchos on YouTube, share this with your Texas Tech friends so that they can join the Pick and Roll Hive. Follow me on Twitter if you have not already. You can find me at Ryan Mainville. Subscribe to the Gamblin Gauchos on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter at Gamblin Gauchos. And until the next film study, let's ride.